We're doing a slightly longer session today. It's going to be about 30 minutes. And for the beginning of the session, we're going to start seated. So you could be on your couch, you could be on a chair. We're also going to do a little bit on the floor later on in the practice. And for that, you could have a yoga mat if you have one available. You can also just use a blanket or a towel. And when we get to that point, I'll show you how to set it up. Just make sure that you have enough space around you guys, so especially if you're doing this with your whole family, just let everybody have a little bit of room to either side of them, and we do a little bit of our side stretching. So coming to sit toward the edge of your chair or your couch, and just grounding down through your hips and your sitting bones. And you're gonna let your feet ground down and rest your hands somewhere onto your thighs or onto your knees. And you can close your eyes. And before we do anything, just connecting with our breath. Not changing the breath in any way, just letting it come in and out and noticing how that feels through the nose. Noticing the movement of the breath through the chest and the belly. See if you can relax through your hips and your thighs a little bit more. Relax through your shoulders, your arms and your hands. Relax the muscles of your face and your jaw. You can let your bottom jaw drop away from the top so there's some space between your teeth. Everything that we do today, you just do what you can, right? We're going to do some simple stretches for relaxation and letting go of tension in the body and the mind. If anything doesn't feel accessible, I'll always be offering modifications. You can also just opt to skip anything that doesn't feel like it's working for your body today. Let's take a full breath in and draw the shoulders up by the ears. And as you exhale, you can sigh and drop. And do that again. Inhale up. And exhale, sigh and drop. One more time. Inhale up. And exhale, sigh and drop. Rolling through the shoulders. Inhale forward and up. Exhale back and down. Inhale forward and up. Exhale back and down. Do that a few more times. Go at your own pace. If you don't link the pose and the breath exactly as I've said, it's okay. Just make sure you're breathing while you move. And switch and go the other direction. You can inhale back and up. Exhale forward and down. Inhale back and up. Exhale forward and down. And then release and just pause with the arms heavy. Tune into your breath again, noticing how it feels and observing any sensations that you feel through the body after that movement. And you can put your eyes open if you haven't already done so. And we're going to do a side stretch. So you'll bring your right hand down to the side. It might be on the edge of your chair, or it might rest down onto a little bit wider away from you if you're on a couch. You'll inhale, reach up through your left arm. And as you exhale, bend through that right elbow. It might even tap down onto the couch or chair if you have the arm out to the side. You'll inhale. And just exhale. Find some nice length in your side. Breathe deeply into your left side. And on your next inhale, come up. And exhale, release and pause. Rest your hands. Take a few breaths. Notice what that feels like through your left side. And then bring your left hand out to the side. You can bend a little bit through that elbow. Inhale, reach up through the right arm, and as you exhale, dive across the midline of your body, reaching through those right fingers, breathing into the right side. Notice how the breath feels in the rib cage. On your next inhale, come up. And exhale, release. Pause. Take a few breaths. Feel free to close the eyes to tune in. It makes it a little easier to feel what's happening in the body when we close the eyes. And you can float the eyes open. So we're going to do a little bit of a modified cat-cow. So if any of you have practiced yoga before, you might have done cat-cow before, where you're on the ground and you're on your knees and on your hands. We're going to modify that today in a seated position. So you bring your hands palm down onto your thighs or onto your knees. And on the inhales, you're going to lift through your heart. And as you exhale, you're going to round back. Your chin comes towards your chest and you're going to lean back. So you're stretching. You're going to inhale, lift. And exhale, round. Inhale, lift. And exhale, round. And keep going like that. Do it a few more times. So you're not looking to go to your max here. You're just looking to find an expression of the pose that softens some of the tension and tightness that there might be along the sides of the spine. And then on your next inhale, you can come up to center and exhale the breath. Pause a moment, maybe closing the eyes to tune in and feel. You're welcome to close your eyes throughout all the poses. You might notice that I'm frequently doing this with my eyes closed. It's just, again, it helps me to tune in, and you might find that it's helpful for you to tune in also. You can float the eyes open. So we're going to do our spinal twist. We did this in one of the other shorter videos. We'll apply that one again today. Inhale, lift up through your arms. And as you exhale, turn to the right. You bring your right hand behind you, the left hand to the outside of your right knee or thigh. And you can look back over your right shoulder. If that bothers your neck, then you can keep your chin in line with the center of your chest instead. Breathe deeply, let the belly rise and fall with the breath, and feel the movement through your rib cage as well. On your next inhale, come up to center. You can reach up through your arms and exhale over the other way. Left hand behind you, right hand to the outside of the left leg. And looking back over that left shoulder or keeping your chin in line with the center of the chest. You want to be mindful here. Sometimes if there's tension in the back, we'll be rounded like this. Do your best to lengthen your spine as much as you can. It's okay if there's a little bit of rounding, but just engage the muscles to find that length and space. And then on your next inhale, you can come back to center, reach up, and exhale, release the arms. Take a breath in and out. So this next one is kind of fun because we're gonna make circles with our rib cage. It's another practice to release tension along the spine and also in the abdominal area. You can stay seated and you'll have your hands resting again onto your thighs. And I'm gonna offer the inhale and the exhale, but like I've said before, if you don't breathe exactly as I've said it or you get confused of the way I'm saying it, it's okay. Just make sure you're breathing. We have a tendency to hold the breath when we concentrate, and we just want to become aware of that and make sure that we don't allow that breath to stop. So you can imagine this like a cement mixer, right? So you're gonna make, or like you're stirring a bowl, right? You're not moving through the rib cage, so trying to really soften this area. You'll inhale, lift, kind of like we did in our cat-cow. But then as you exhale, you're gonna bring your rib cage to the right and back, so you find that concave position again. You inhale, come forward and lift. And exhale, round. And inhale, lift. And exhale. So you're making big circles. Now, totally normal to feel awkward as you're doing this. So if you're feeling that, or if you guys start laughing as you go to do this, it's okay. And then you're gonna switch and go the other direction. So really bring your chin towards your chest when you go back. And feel how your weight shifts in your hips as you make those circles. Bring yourself to center and pause a moment with the eyes closed. Notice how that feels. And you can float your eyes open. And we're gonna do some stretching for the lower body. So you're gonna take your right ankle and bring it to your left knee. So you're making this little kind of figure 4 shape in your legs. If this feels tight, so this is parents, you might notice that this maybe feels tight in your hip or it feels hard to have it with the knee bent like this, you can extend the leg to soften it slightly. So these are a nice way to modify that. You want to make sure that both of your sitting bones or your hips feel grounded. And we're going to press down through the hands, so you're going to get nice and tall. So lift yourself up, take your breath in and out. This might be the stretch. You might stay just like this. You might find that you can come forward a little bit. You might just hinge a little bit at your hips. You might even bring your hands forward. You might even bring your forehead down onto your forearms like this. Whatever expression you find, just breathe into it. Breathe into that right hip. It's a great way to stretch the hip and also the low back. On your next inhale, bring yourself all the way back up if you came down. Exhale the breath. We'll uncross the leg and pause. Rest your hands, close your eyes, tune into what you feel in the right leg compared to the left. Just see if you can feel a difference. Not everybody can. As we start to do our yoga practice, we learn how to tune into the subtle body. And it's a practice, right? So it might not be available immediately, and it's okay. But we just try, because even if we only pause and tune into our breath, it's still a practice of calming the nervous system and kind of centering us. So don't stress if you don't feel a difference in the two sides. Take a breath in and out. And we'll do the other side. So, hi Pringle. Pringle came to visit us. You're gonna bring your left leg up. Now, in my 10 years of teaching, for most people, the left side is tighter. So if you're observing that, it's normal. If you're like, oh my gosh, this feels harder, it's okay. So remember, the modification, if this feels like it's a lot, is you can start to straighten that right leg out a little bit, as much as you need to. You can even bring it all the way to straight, and you can just work on holding your leg like that. Hands to the sides at first. You can inhale to lift and get nice and tall. You might just stay here as you exhale, or you might fold a little bit forward. You might even be able to bring your hands one on top of the other and then rest onto your forearms. Hold here for just a few breaths. Relax through your hips. Notice how the breath feels in your back body. On your next inhale, bring yourself up if you folded forward. Exhale a breath. And you can release your leg. And pause a moment just to tune in, see what you feel. Whatever you feel is valid and okay. And take a breath in and sigh it out. Good. So we're going to do a few things on the floor now. So this is where if you have a yoga mat, you could use it, or I'm going to be using a blanket So you can feel free to put a blanket down. If you have a carpet, you don't need to put anything down, but you can if you want to. You can just be right on your carpet. You're also welcome to just be on the hardwood floor if you have it. But sometimes, ooh, Pringle's very excited about the blanket. Hey, Pringle. I hope your pets are doing yoga with you too, if you have them. So you're gonna come down onto your back. And you're gonna bring your feet onto the ground. Your knees are bent. You could have your arms open out to the sides. If you don't have space, if you're doing this with a lot of people and you don't have a lot of room, you could also bring your hands to rest onto your hips or onto your belly. You're gonna take a breath in, and as you exhale, drop your legs over to the right, and then inhale to center, and exhale over to the left. So you're moving like a windshield wiper. Inhale to center, exhale over to the right. Remember that breathing is just an offering. You can breathe in any other way that you'd like. You can do it faster than that. You can do it slower than that. But just allow the legs to drop from side to side. This is great for releasing, again, tension in the hips and the low back. And you can even let your head move a little bit from side to side. And the next time you're over to the left side, you'll be even. You can come up to center and pause. Hi, Pringle. And then we're going to draw the right knee up toward your chest. You can interlace your fingers around your shin or around your thigh. And you could keep your left knee bent, or you might feel like you can straighten it out. So you can see which one feels okay. We're going to rock the leg from side to side. Breathe, 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 right? So notice if you try to hold the breath and just breathe. Also check your jaw, make sure the jaw's still relaxed. Use this rocking to loosen tension. Then come to center and make some circles with your knee. You could probably use one hand to guide those circles. Your foot is relaxed. Sometimes it feels nice to bring the left hand onto the left hip just to ground it. And then make a few circles in the other direction as well. And come to center and just squeeze that leg in a little closer to you. Get it as close to you as you can, really hugging it to the right side of your torso. Take a big breath in, puff up your belly, and then sigh it out. And do that again. Take a big breath in, puff your belly, and sigh it out. Big breath in, and sigh it out. And then release it out and just lie flat for a moment. You can close the eyes if they aren't already closed and just notice what you feel on the right side compared to the left. Then we're going to do the left side. You can bend your knees and plant your feet. Draw your left knee up. Interlace your fingers around the shin or around the belly of the thigh. You can keep your right knee bent, or if you feel like you have the space to extend it, you can extend the leg. I'm going to rock from side to side. You can let this be a little playful. Right? You're kind of shifting the weight from side to side in your hips. Let your neck be loose too. So notice if you're kind of rigid in your neck, you want to let your head move. And breathe, and smile, and have fun, because this is very playful. And then come to center. And you can take your left hand to that knee and make some circles, just guiding. Maybe your right hand is resting on your right hip, or you might just open it out to the side. And switching the other way. And then squeeze it in. Get it nice and close to the left side of your torso. Take a deep breath in, puff your belly up. And sigh it out. Take another deep breath in. Sigh it out. And one more time, take a deep breath in. And sigh it out. And release that. Release that leg out. And just pause and lie flat. And just what you feel. So next we're going to draw both knees up towards your chest. And again, you can hold on to the thighs or to your shins, the front of your lower leg here. You're going to draw your legs in nice and close. You can interlace your fingers and you can rock from side to side. And we're going to come to center. And we're going to do happy baby pose. So the way this works is you bring your knees out toward your armpits, and then you bring your bottoms of your feet up. This might be another one you find yourself laughing in. And you can hold on behind your knees, or you can hold on to your ankles, or you could hold on to the outer edges of your feet. If you're holding your ankles or the outer edges of your feet, your elbow's going to come to the inside of your knee. If you're holding here, then your elbows will be out to the sides. So you find whichever grip works, and then you can stay here and you can be still, or you can rock a little bit from side to side, like happy baby. Now it is a requirement that you smile in this one, because you're a happy baby and it's part of the pose. And so adults, if you're doing this, you might feel like this is painful in your hips because of tightness. So again, modify if you need to by holding here, and also know you do not have to rock. I know when I first did this pose, sometimes rocking felt intense. So if you're feeling that, it's okay. We'll come to center. We'll release that out. And you can extend your legs. I'm always checking to make sure I'm not going to put my legs on Pringle all the way out. And bring your arms out to the sides. Pause a moment and just release. Notice what that feels like in your hips and your legs. We're going to do one last pose before we come into our resting posture. You're going to bend your knees and plant your feet. So listen carefully. Sometimes this is an instruction that gets lost, but watch me for this so you can watch how we're going to set up. Your knees are bent, your feet are planted. You're going to scoot your hips a little bit over to the right. So you can see now my hips are a little bit kind of off center. From this position, I'm going to draw the knees up toward my belly. And then I'm going to drop my legs over to the left side. So you move your hips a little bit to the right, and then you're going to drop your legs over to the left for a spinal twist. You can open your arms out wide, like a T shape. Some people actually like to take the hand on top of the legs. It helps to anchor them down. And then you want to just rock your head a little bit from side to side and let it rest in a position that feels comfortable for you. You might turn to the left shoulder, you might turn to the right shoulder, or you might stay centered. Take a few deep breaths here. Imagine with every exhale, your legs get heavier and your shoulders get heavier. If you're having any difficulty getting your legs down onto the ground, you could prop your legs up by putting a pillow underneath them or in between them. Relax your jaw. Just one or two more breaths here. next inhale, come on up to center. Swing the hips back to center. Exhale the breath and pause here a moment. And we'll do the other side. Press down through your feet. Scoot your hips over to the left. Draw your knees up toward your belly. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, drop them down. You can open your arms out wide, or you might take your right hand onto the legs. So just like with our seated posture before, where I said one side could feel different, same thing applies for your twists. I know for me, when I'm twisting to this side, I experience more tension. You might feel something similar or different in your body too. If it's tighter, modify. You can put a pillow underneath your legs and or in between your legs. You want to try and have that left shoulder grounded. So if you have a position like this happening, support the legs to a point where the shoulders can come down. Just take a few more breaths here. Make sure your head is relaxed. You can rock it a little bit from side to side and then just let it find a position where it's comfortable. Just one more breath. On your next inhale, you can come up to center. Swing the hips to center, exhale the breath, and pause. Take a breath in, and sigh it out. So next we're going to come into our final resting pose. You could stay lying on the ground and extend your legs out and just lie totally flat. This is actually the traditional version of the pose. You just lie flat like this. I'm going to offer a variation of the pose though that actually helps to release some of the tension that we can feel in our low back. It's also a nice way to invert our blood flow, so it helps to relax tension in the feet and the legs as well because of the inversion. So feel free to stay like this. If you have access to a seat and you want to try this modified version, you can try it with me. So we'll turn this way and bring our legs up to rest on the seat. And you can lie down. So you can see that I have my knees all the way to my feet supported on the cushion. So you want to scoot yourself close enough that you feel that whole lower leg supported. You can rock your feet a little bit in and out, make sure that your feet are relaxed, your hips are grounded, and your upper body is relaxed. If you feel like your head is doing something like this, use a pillow. You can put a pillow underneath your head to support and to kind of just have your chin slightly tucked down toward your throat. So this final resting posture, Shavasana, Shavasana. I don't usually say those titles of the poses, just to keep things simple and accessible. But this pose is almost always, we use the actual name for it. It's the final resting posture in yoga. It is a time at the end of the practice where you allow your body to really absorb everything that you've done. It's a practice of being totally still. I'm going to walk you through that and just kind of letting go in the body, letting go in the mind, and receiving the benefits of your practice. So you want to make sure that your head is centered. You can let your arms open out to the sides. If you're doing this next to each other and you all are kind of lined up on the couch, you could even hold hands here. It's a nice way to just create connection. We're going to take a deep breath in and sigh it out. And keep your bottom jaw relaxed away from the top, so there's a little bit of space between your teeth. Relax the muscles around your eyes and your cheeks. Relax the muscles of your neck and your shoulders. And just let your arms and your legs be heavy. Imagine that your bones are heavy. You're feeling
point of gravity.
And you might hear Dr. Hughes in the background having his phone conversation downstairs. One of my teachers always said that if you're doing Shavasana and you hear voices in the background, just imagine like if you're at your grandparents' house or something when you were little, right? And that feeling of just being comforted by the voices, comforted by the presence of that voice. Just let your breath become more and more shallow. So we're going to be ending this video, but you do not have to end this pose. You can stay in this pose as long as you'd like. If your body is feeling relaxed, if you're in a peaceful space, you can just stay here for at least 5 to 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever you'd like, whatever you have time for. It's a great space to just relax and give the body time to heal. Whenever you are ready to move, you'll just bring your knees up towards your chest. You can roll onto your side. And pause there on your side for a moment, take a breath. And you can press to bring yourself up. We'll bring our hands to heart center. We'll finish our session by saying together, Namaste. Thank you all for sharing your practice. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.